The Clutter-Depression-Anxiety cycle. How do we stop it? I'm Rachel Jones, the Joyful Space Specialist and author of NourishingMinimalism.com. It wasn't that long ago that I shared my own personal journey about depression and clutter, and I was blown away at the amount of comments that were left on my blog from people who are in the same place or came from that same place of clutter and emotional turmoil. It's really a vicious cycle. Anxiety or depression can lead to a cluttery home. A cluttery home can lead to more depression and anxiety. We tend to do less about the house. It gets worse, and it just continues over and over. Psychology Today states that clutter overstimulates our system, visual, olfactory, tactile, causing our senses to work overtime on stimuli that aren't necessary or important. Clutter draws our attention away from what our focus should be on. Clutter makes it more difficult to relax, both physically and mentally. Clutter consistently reminds our brains that we still have a huge to-do list. Clutter causes anxiety because the idea of sorting piles is overwhelming. Clutter creates feelings of guilt and embarrassment, particularly when someone drops by unexpected. Clutter frustrates us by making it hard to find anything we need: keys, bills, checkbook, all of that. The clutter in our home not only looks bad, it makes us feel bad. A couple of years ago, I got a hold of a book called Life at Home in the 21st Century. This is where anthropologists, social scientists, and archaeologists found things about clutter. They said there's a definite link between the overabundance of household objects, what they called stressful home environments, and the homeowner's health, definitely affecting a woman's long-term well-being. Men apparently aren't quite as affected as women. Now, this is what their studies were. I do know men who are affected in that sense, but I know a lot that aren't as well. And I think the majority of us women struggle with this because we view so much of our home as part of our identity. They measured the cortisol levels over a number of days, and in the cluttered or messy homes, there was a higher rate of a depressive mood by the end of the day, which basically says the more time we spend in our cluttered home, the more depressed we get. Here in the US, we have 3.1% of the population, the world's population of children. But as consumers, we purchase about 40% of the toys consumed globally. In the US, they found what they called child-centered homes, where the toys are spilling out from the bedrooms and the playrooms all across the house. Parents end up purchasing more for their children because they're working to maintain a certain quality of life. And so they're trying to compensate because they're not spending as much time as they'd like to with their children. Feelings of guilt about that adds to the depression and the anxiety. We simply have too much surrounding us. The average room has about 2,000 items visible. More so in the office and when you're at your computer working online as well. It's no wonder we're overstimulated and anxious. And it's also a reason why my yearly decluttering challenge is not that hard to complete. Every year we get rid of the same amount of items as the year. This year, 2,020 items. Since the average room has 2,000 visible items, it's really not hard to find that much stuff to get rid of. Most of the time we don't notice all the things we're surrounded by. Everything adds up so quickly, and we don't realize what a state of abundance we are living in. Getting rid of things is emotional work. When people decide that they are ready to declutter and change the state of their home, they tend to get paralyzed by the emotions that come with decluttering. Either it's sentimental items or the guilt of the money that they spent and probably believing that they should sell it instead so they can recoup some of that. Also, there's the cramped schedule because we've filled our lives. It's hard to find time to declutter. Most of us have filled our calendars so much we don't have leisure time. And when we do have leisure time, it's usually plugged in front of a screen, being occupied by something. That doesn't give our brains adequate time to rest, relax, and unwind. I would like to say that organizing is not simplifying. We cannot purchase enough cute organizational supplies to make our environment calm. Putting those things in bins just means that now we have all the stuff in bins. It doesn't address the core issues that we have with either collecting too much or being unable to part with items, which means if we don't address those issues, we'll just have more of the same. To really get your home calm, you have to get rid of enough stuff so that it's easy to give homes to the things that you need and use. But you can't just focus on decluttering. Our daily habits impact our home just as much as all of this stuff. So start small, develop a simple morning and evening routine. Basically, just washing the dishes and tossing the trash. I know it seems small, but having those dishes done means the rest of life doesn't feel quite as overwhelming. And seeing that you accomplished something, having that visual reminder of I did this, gives us a serious confidence boost. Honestly, if all you ever did was focus on a morning and an evening routine in your kitchen, your home would drastically improve over the years. But if you'd like to declutter as well, start small. Start in the kitchen. Focus on just the one room and set your timer and work on just one pile or one drawer or one shelf at a time. 10 to 15 minutes tops. Even if you have to focus on the same drawer for several days in a row, you're still getting somewhere. Focused work is going to accomplish so much more than if you were just all over the house working a little bit everywhere. If you're in that state where you're depressed or you're anxious, it's hard to get motivation to accomplish anything. So keep it so small that it seems doable for you. And don't stress the rest. It's also important to talk positively to yourself. We love proving ourselves right. So if you walk around the house saying to yourself, I am just such a messy person, we're going to work hard to prove to ourselves that, yeah, we are messy. So instead, shift what you're saying to yourself. If you find yourself saying something negative, completely flip it around and say, no, I love a clean and organized space. I enjoy having my dishes done. It makes me feel good when the laundry's clean and put away. I deserve to give myself a nice house. I know personally how difficult it is to pull yourself out of depression and take action and make changes in your home and your life. But each little step, no matter how small, is going to pull you forward. Taking one small action every day is going to have a ripple effect on your home and in your life. And if doing a whole load of dishes seems like too much, or working for 10 minutes seems too overwhelming, that's okay. Just require one thing of yourself. Go wash one dish. That's it. Or throw away one piece of paper. Maybe tomorrow you'll feel up to doing two things. If not, it's okay. One thing is still moving you forward. It is possible, and you can make a difference in your home. If you'd like to follow a chart and get some help setting those simple, basic routines, I have a free download in the description below this video, and I'll also link to some related articles on my website. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.